Hey, thanks for checking out this episode of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name is Trent. Jason and I recently sat down with Nine, the bass player for Dead Metal Society, The Addiction, and Amped. We talk about all three of those bands. We talk about his previous bands that he was in the 90s and the early 2000s, which were the Kevorkians and Mourning Tree. We talk about the bands that he started in the mid to late 80s, his rise up through the music scene from then till now. And speaking of the 80s, if you're not familiar with the band Dead Metal Society, do yourself a favor, look them up on YouTube, or if you're in the Midwest area, they played throughout Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas. Check them out if you can. You won't be disappointed. They do everything from the glam stuff to the heavier stuff like Metallica and Iron Maiden. And speaking of YouTube, we have a YouTube channel. It's just The Thunder Underground. And we have companion playlists for every episode. So you can pull that up for this episode. And it'll have stuff from Dead Metal Society as well as all the bands that we talk about throughout this, like Alice in Chains and Queen, the Beatles, and so on. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's The Thunder Underground. We're also on Instagram at The Thunder Underground. We've got a website, which is just www.thethunderunderground.com. You can find all our podcasts on there, links to all our social media sites, all the ones I just mentioned, as well as Twitter. Check out Nine on Facebook with Dead Metal Society. Just search Dead Metal Society, you'll find them. They also have a website, dmsrocks.com. You can find Amped on Facebook. It's AMPED. And The Addiction is on there as well. So be sure and look all those up. Give them a like. Support them. Check them out. Thanks for tuning into this. Tell all your friends. We appreciate it. We're sitting here with Nine from Dead Metal Society, Amped, The Addiction. How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Great.
Well, you just had your first gig with Addiction, actually, last Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how'd it go?
It went great. Place was packed. Practice paid off. We did really good. It was good. It was a good night.
Cool deal.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff are you guys doing?
It's stuff people can dance to, and then we throw in a couple things that we just want to play because we like the songs, and stuff from 311 to Alice in Chains to the Toadies to Tears for Fears. So it's a good mix.
Nice. All over the place.
Yeah.
Cool. So how does that differ from Amped? Like, Amp's more?
Amp's a little harder, and right. we kind of just play what we want to play more than what other people. Amped is more of a band where it's like we don't care if you dance or not. We're gonna play the songs that we want to play.
Yeah.
From the '90s and current stuff, but people end up usually dancing to the songs that we pick. So I guess we're doing something right there.
Right. Well, speaking of the 90s, that's when you got your start in music?
No,
or was it the 80s?
I got my start in the 80s, yeah. No, my mom and dad bought me a bass guitar when I was about 15 years old. Actually, they bought me a guitar, and everybody in my neighborhood already played guitar, so I said, I'm going to switch to bass then. And so that's what I did, and so I would say I started in about 1985, and then really got into the scene in about 1987, 88. My first band that ever did anything was called Nasty Attractions, and we got to open for LA Guns at Kane's Ballroom in '88. So that was quite a thrill.
Wow,
that was cool. I thought, wow, I'm on to something here. Here we go.
Right.
And the next year, I was in a band called Bones Barkus, and we opened for Skid Row at a club called the Beat Club. That was in a shopping center around 51st and Sheridan area, and so
wow,
that was pretty cool to do at a young
awesome.
age. Open for people that you're a fan of.
Yeah, and that was right when it was all hitting.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting to be that young and play for those big crowds and get treated like a rock star. That's what you wanted. That's kind of why you started. Kind of doing it. You know, the chicks, the attention, the music, it was all there. It was there at an early age, so it confirmed what I wanted to do the rest of my life for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, was that the type of music you were into at the time? Mainly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, Kiss is the reason I play music. I remember seeing Kiss cards when I was a little kid. My big brother had them. And I remember being like 8 years old, and I looked at those Kiss cards, and I said, "That's what I'm going to do right there." And I have. And so, you know, I was in the Motley Crue. I dyed my hair black and pierced my ears, and all those LA bands. I was into all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Which is why Dead Metal Society is so perfect for me, because you know, that's what I was good at doing.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. So I mean, when you do that kind of stuff, I mean, those songs just probably just come right out of you. You don't have to remember them or.
Nah,
yeah.
not really. You know, I grew up, you know, my whole life hearing them. So, you know, most of them I already know, and then there's, you know, every once in a while we'll have to actually sit down and learn some. And,
Well, it's just they're so ingrained in us. I mean, when you sit down with a guitar and they just it's so fun to play.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. It is absolutely very fun to play. Yeah, we have a great time.
Cool.
Well, after Nasty Habits, you said
Nasty Attractions.
Nasty Habits. Sorry. Yeah. Nasty Attractions. What'd you say was next?
Well, I joined a band called Roulette, which ironically enough, one of the guitar players in Roulette was Mark from Dead Metal Society, and the other guitar player in that band Roulette was Mark from The Addiction. So these are two guys I've been playing with for 28 years, forever. And we were called Roulette. We changed the band name to Bones Barkus, and we played covers and originals, and went out on the road for 5 nights to like El Paso, Texas, and Amarillo and Colorado Springs, playing in bars that two of us weren't even old enough to be in, 18 years old, 19 years old, and we're playing in these 21 bars in different states. So that was cool too. And it was all a learning experience. It was all you pick up things here and there, and you get older and you piece it all together and say, okay, that kind of makes sense. Here's how we do this. So you know, when you're young, it's a party. When you get older, it's more of a business. You still want to party, but it's more business.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's got to be some like crazy stuff from those days. If you're on the road, there's got to be some insane stories.
There are some insane stories. Absolutely. that I'll never ever forget either. Ever.
What's one? What's one that you can tell?
Okay, can I swear at all?
Yes. All right, go right ahead.
Well, I remember playing in Amarillo, Texas, and we were there for 5 nights. We were under a production company called Phantom Productions here in Tulsa. And the club would put us up in a hotel. They would put us up in this hotel down the street from the club where we played. Yeah. And in this hotel, there were people that paid to live there monthly, weekly, whatever it was. Yeah. So we have our 2 rooms, and every night we come up. Now we played Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. And every night we'd come up these steps to our hotel room. This old guy that lived there, would come out of his room. There's gonna be a shit sandwich if you guys keep making all that noise. There's gonna be a shit sandwich. Every night, man, we come back at 2 in the morning. We've been drinking, we're laughing, girls with us, and here's this guy opening this door yelling at us, "There's gonna be a shit sandwich. Someone's gonna eat that shit sandwich if you guys don't shut it up." So the very last night we're there, Saturday night, man, we have this idea, man. We go down to the kitchen, the cafeteria at the hotel or whatever it was, and found a couple slices of bread. And 2 of the guys, I think it was 2 of the guys on the road crew, you know, I guess they had to use the bathroom, and shit in a cup, poured it on that bread. Put that on his doorstep with a note that said, "Here's your shit sandwich, motherfucker."
And there you have it.
And we pulled out of town, and that was a good one. That was pretty funny.
Yes. You know, that guy probably never did that again. Never threatened.
And he probably still tells that story.
Yes.
He's still alive. Yeah,
those
exactly.
fucking kids.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we thought it was brilliant, man. It was great. It was great. And there's a lot of stories like that, you know. I mean, because, you know, you want to live it up. You go on the road with your bandmates, and that's your comrades, your army, or whatever. You know, it's your boys. So you want to make those memories, and we sure did.
Hey, you only go around once.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So after all that, were you in any other bands before the Kevorkians, or?
Bones Barkus Bones Barkus broke up, and I was in a band called Rude Jester in the early 90s. And then Bones Barkus got back together minus a member, and then we fired our singer, and then it was to the point in the 90s where, you know, Kurt Cobain can do it, I can do it, so I became the lead singer, and we played nothing but originals, and we changed the band name to the Kevorkians, and we played like Edge Fest '98, and we toured over throughout Texas and parts of Oklahoma, and we got a CD out and sold a whole bunch of those, and so after about 6 years of that, I would say I changed like the kind of style. The Kevorkians were very much a grunge kind of Nirvana sounding band.
Yeah.
And I changed the name of the band to Mourning Tree, Mour, and kind of changed the style of music to more of an Alice in Chainsy type, you know, vocal harmony driven band, and we played like the Birthday Bash in 2001 or 2 out there in Claremore, and you know,
we were at that,
and so, you know, started doing the cover, and I only played original. I think I played originals for about 10 years and didn't play covers at all. And you get older, and you know, you want to live a little nicer, and the cover band income starts to get good.
It does.
But you know, I still write. I still have that desire to play original music because that's where you take pride in that. You know, it's not. I love playing the covers and acting out, you know, the '80s band thing in Dead Metal Society, but it's much more gratifying when you're playing your own songs and people are digging your own music and stuff that you write.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
it comes easier.
And I always like to make that point to people. It's like, I don't just play covers. I'm a songwriter. You know, it's important to me because I've spent my whole life writing songs.
Yeah.
And recording, and so hopefully someday soon, I can get another CD out with some original stuff on it.
Right on. But you know, the covers are fun. They're super fun.
They are,
and it's when it's stuff you want to do. You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I sometimes I'll have to learn a song and it'll really piss me off. Like, I hate learning songs. I don't want to learn these songs. I hate this crap. Or I'll learn a song that I just don't like. I mean, there's a song on The Addiction we had to learn, and actually it went over really well. And it's like, I keep saying it's the gayest song I've ever played in my life, but it went over. So, you know, you're not always right. You know, and
what was it, Nickelback?
No, it was not Nickelback, and I'm proud to say that I don't play a Nickelback song whatsoever in any bands.
Good. That's like that at Downtown Lounge on their jukebox. They have a sign that says absolutely no Nickelback. It will be skipped.
Good.
And I was like, you know what? I'm in the right place.
Yeah,
I'm
there
in
you
the
go.
right fucking place.
There you go. It's so funny they get so much hate. I mean, it's so weird. I mean, I hate them. I don't like them. I can't hate them. I just don't like them.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know, I'm sure they're nice guys, but
sure they are, and they're Canadian, eh?
Yes.
And yesterday was Canada. Was it Canada?
It was Canada Day. Yeah. I listened to Anvil.
There you go.
And Sebastian Bach in tribute. So
there you go.
Nickelback never came into it.
How about some Corey Hart or some
Sunglasses?
Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams.
Or some what's Alanis Morissette? Is she from Canada?
Yeah. He played the Alanis Morissette, I'm sure. So.
Right.
Hey, she got a great voice.
Yeah, I saw her live 6 or 8 years ago, and I was
after Taylor Hawkins was the drummer? Was he the drummer then?
I think it was after.
Okay, yeah.
No, we went to see Matchbox 20 with my ex-wife.
Oh, yeah.
And she was opening.
Okay, cool.
It was great.
You know, the last 2 concerts I went to, well, I'm a huge Beatles fanatic.
Yeah.
I can tell you everything about the Beatles.
Yeah.
Because there's bands that I obsessed over: Kiss, Motley Crue, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Queen, Faith No More, but nothing like the Beatles.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you everything. I mean, I'm a Beatles fanatic. I love good vocal harmonies, like Alice in Chains, like the Beatles, like Queen. I love that. Love the harmonies.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Which one?
Which Beatle?
Oh, John Lennon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, Ringo was lucky, and of course I love. And so I saw Paul McCartney both times he came to Tulsa.
Really?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Just chills. It's just like, wow, what a trip, man! I got to take my son, so that was very cool too, because my son really appreciates the Beatles too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said one of those bands you obsess over, Faith No More.
Yeah.
Favorite Faith No More record?
Probably King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime.
There you go.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my favorite too, and most people.
What's weird is that I got, I won't say I'll say the first two with Mike Patton because they had an album or two out before Mike Patton, but I always had the Real Thing album and the Angel Dust album. But I'm not a big keyboard guy, and they have a lot of keyboards in there.
Yeah.
But I just kind of lost interest in them after that, and it wasn't until years later my buddy played me the next two albums, King for a Day and the Album of the Year.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, these are awesome. They're way better than those other two albums. The first, the keyboard oriented one, like The Gentle Art of Making Enemies is a fucking great song. Ashes to Ashes is a fucking great song.
Yeah.
Digging the Grave is a great. Get Out. I mean,
What a Day.
Yeah.
Just that bass in that. Just like,
Take this bottle. I love that song, dude.
yeah.
It's album of the year for me. That one's just
Yeah.
I wore that CD out and I had to get a new one. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I mean they're awesome. Dude, Mike Patton's got like 12 voices in that body, man.
Yeah,
he does, man. He's a smart guy too.
Have you got the new one yet, or?
No, I listened to it. It's all right. It's weird when you get older, man. And albums come out, and you just kind of, I don't know. I kind of skimmed over it. I think I heard 3 or 4, maybe 5 songs on it. I didn't listen to the whole thing. Just on my phone. But like I listened to Motherfucker and what's the, I don't know.
Superhero,
yeah.
Single.
Yeah, so I saw them do that. Would they do it on Jay Leno or David Letterman or
One of
something?
those.
Conan or something? Yeah.
Right on.
But I like them. I like Faith No More.
So going back to the Kevorkians.
The Kevorkians, yeah.
Whenever you mentioned Nirvana and Alice in Chains, so you got into that whole scene. You didn't just kind of go into it because that's what people wanted to hear.
No, as a matter of fact, by the end of the 80s, when I really always knew about the Beatles because I have older brothers and sisters, and I always knew their songs.
Yeah.
But when I was 18, I read a book called The Love You Make about the Beatles, and basically Bones Barkus had gotten off the road, and me and Mark Mortensen, who's in Dead Metal Society with me, we had nothing to do. We had no jobs, we had no car, we didn't have cable TV or nothing. But his mom had a book called The Love You Make about the Beatles, so I read it, and when I was done, I was like, oh my God. And then it was obsession with the Beatles. Everything else, Motley Crue, Rat, Doc, and Wasp, all that shit. Screw all that. Now, of course, around that time in 1990 and stuff, so when that grunge was starting to come in. But no, I wasn't into that. I played wood and man the box and stuff, and I didn't give a shit about Alice in Chains. I didn't care. I was into the Beatles.
Yeah.
I didn't like Nirvana whatsoever.
Really?
No, I did not. And about 1994, sometime before Kurt killed himself, I had a buddy that was playing me their Nirvana albums, and I was like, holy shit, this is brilliant, man. Yeah. But the Alice in Chains, man, Lane Staley is just a god, man. I mean, just the heart. I mean, but without Jerry Cantrell, of course Lane was the voice. You recognize that, but Jerry Cantrell, without him, they wouldn't sound like Alice in Chains. I mean, he writes those riffs and those low harmony vocals he does, and man, that Dirt album is just top 5, man. I mean, such a great album.
Those harmonies, those vocals are like trademark. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
They don't sound like anybody else, and nobody else sounds like them.
Absolutely,
people try.
Well, that new guy does a good job too. That black guy, William something or whatever, but he does a good job. But it's not Lane, man. It's too bad about It's too bad. It's funny because all my musical heroes were heroin addicts, and I've never seen it, never touched it, nothing. I mean, but you got Kurt Cobain, John Lennon, Lane Staley, and Nikki Sixx, all heroin addicts.
Yeah.
So something weird there. I don't know what it is, but
that's crazy. I think as far as Chains goes, they their stuff is good now, but it just doesn't seem. It just seems a little bit more like droney and like just not as bright as it was. I'm not a guy that's like, screw whatever the new stuff is. I mean, I like when bands do new stuff, but I don't know, for some reason it's just not hooking me like.
I get that, man. I haven't heard the whole. What's it called? That when dinosaurs got the devil put dinosaurs here.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that one, but the other one before that, Black Gives Way to Blue, I thought was a really good album, and that song is beautiful. That song he wrote for Lane.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful song, man. I never got to see him live with Lane Staley. I saw him live with the new guy.
I never did. I would have loved to.
Never got to see Nirvana live. They never came to Tulsa.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City they came to, but never Tulsa.
They did. I know, a lot of those bands, what was it, Pearl Jam came to Tulsa for the first time last year or this year or whatever it was. And that was nuts.
That would have been great to see. But like that Alice in Chains Unplugged is so.
Oh yeah.
But
That was
Lane is
insane.
so you can tell he's so emotionless. His sleeve, he's got his arms covered up completely because he's probably got track marks.
Yeah.
He's just emotionless, man. He wears those dark glasses the whole time, but he sounds incredible,
insane,
incredible, man. And so I'm highly, highly, highly influenced by Alice. My writing is so influenced by Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
But also by the Beatles, but also by a little bit of probably some Kiss in me from way back. And so it's kind of a mixture of stuff.
Well, yeah, that stuff gets in you, and it'll always come out.
Sure. Like I don't like Kiss's new stuff at all. I don't even listen to it really. I've seen Kiss about 6 or 7 times, and but they're always going to be why I am what I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of them. And Motley Crue just kind of took a little further and more dangerous a little bit. Flirting with the devil kind of stuff, dyeing your hair. So I loved Wasp. I love that just the theatrical part of it all.
Yeah, Scott talked about Wasp a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure he would. Yeah, but
Did you stop? Where'd you stop with Kiss as far as the music or the new music? I mean,
the last Kiss album, the last Kiss album I can really tell you I know is Revenge.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, no, I got Psycho Circus. I know that. I know Psycho Circus too, but I don't own.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, copies of either of the last 2 albums they've put out at all. I don't.
They're fun, but it's.
Paul's voice is gone.
Yeah.
His voice is gone, and it makes me sad to listen. I used to go to bed at night as a little kid listening to my Kiss albums, man. and to hear a guy that you grew up with your whole life struggle to sing his songs.
Yeah.
It bothers me. It really seriously bothers. When Gene's singing better than you you're starting to suck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but you know what? I was an Ace Frehley guy. Ace was my guy.
Yeah.
And he was probably the worst singer, but he had the coolest voice.
Yeah, he
talked
did.
He was the rock star, the troublemaker. He was my favorite.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't he record his stuff laying on the ground because he
Well,
didn't want anyone to see or something?
He recorded
like that?
his first vocal for "Shock Me" lying on his back.
Yeah.
He would write songs for the band, and they'd be like, "Cool, sing it." And he would be afraid to sing them, so he would give, say, "Getaway" to Peter Criss, or he would give "Cold Gin" to Gene Simmons, and they would sing it. And it took him until 1977 to record his first vocal. And then the next album after that, he had 3 songs on there. So he was like, "All right, I'm gonna do this."
Yeah.
That's
awesome. So, so how was, talk a little bit about Dead Metal Society, how it came about, the idea, because what's cool about it is it's not just the songs, you've got the look and the show and stuff like that. Where did all that come from?
In about 2008, I got the call to come and try out to play bass, and at that time, the only 2 guys that are currently in the band that you would know would be Todd and Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And we went, and it kind of clicked. And we went through a couple guitar players, and then we got Ben, and then we went through a couple drummers, and we ended up with Jason Gilardi. And at first, we didn't even we dressed in matching black shirts. We didn't dress up at all.
I see.
Our hair, even my hair was short at that point.
Yeah.
And we set out just to give people the 80s rock experience, arena rock concert experience.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Halloween of 2012 that we actually dressed up for the first time because it was Halloween.
Yeah.
And I think since Halloween of 2012, there's only been 1 show where we haven't dressed up.
Really?
And it was just because of lack of a dressing room or something like that. So yeah, we got the smoke and the lights and the lasers and the look, and we want to give people that the 80s rock experience. And there's a lot of people in their 20s and 30s that never got to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised at how many of them love it. I mean, of course, you get a lot of your 40-year-old people or 50-year-old people that love it.
Yeah.
But it's really surprising how many 5-year-olds and 30-year-olds like it too and know the songs.
Awesome.
So. It keeps that tradition alive. It's the ultimate 80s tribute.
That's awesome.
And it's a great time. We have a great time doing it. It's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff, I'm sure that comes off. It comes, through a lot more that it's fun. It's like, because if I remember going to those big shows at the Pavilion and stuff, there was just something in the air that, you didn't really get when...
Sure.
It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Pantera, but there's a different feeling in the air when you went to that show at the Pavilion. You know?
Right.
So, you know, and like just stuff like the double bass drums with the reflective thing, so every time you hit it, it would, you know,
Sure.
go all over the place, you know.
No, and that's what we want to do. We want to give those people who are 45 years old, we want to take them back and give them that experience that they had in high school or whatever it is, you know, and it's a fun time. It's always a fun time because with that kind of music, you can get up there and you can let it go and you can have fun, you know. Yeah. So it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like a set, like each set's going to be this, or do you take requests, or do you just do what you feel?
No, we don't. We listen to requests.
Yeah.
We will listen to that, but no. We have. I'd say we probably know about 70 songs, and we just kind of.
Oh, that's awesome.
We just kind of, you know, depending on where we're playing, kind of filter through them and to make the sets. And sometimes, you know, Todd will. If Todd wants to veto something, the singer always gets the last, the last word on the song list, obviously. So, but it, you know, we have to play the standards, of course. Pour Some Sugar on Me, or you know, Still of the Night, or you know, Something by Poison. So some of them are always in there. Some of them are always there. You know, You Shook Me All Night Long is always there. We're probably going to be the only band that I know of that plays November Rain.
Really?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And that goes over, and so that goes over so great, man.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah. We do an old Crocus song, and you know, we'll do some old Motley Crue, some Livewire, and some Shout the Devil.
Yeah, that's great.
So we don't just play the sappy, sugary hits. We'll also kind of dig in and like Smooth Up in You by the Bullet Boys, and you know.
Yes, yeah. I always hated when you had the one drunk guy or drunk girl come up to you like in between sets and want you to play.
Oh yeah.
This one, you're like, I don't know that one or whatever.
Sure. Should we get the occasional napkins on stage with the writing on it? You know what I say? Do you guys play so and so and so and so?
Yeah.
No, but we do get that. Yeah, we get people to ask us. So you know, I mean, it's surprising too because we're obviously an '80s band. Yet we'll get somebody that, do you guys play any Stained?
Oh man.
Oh no, we don't do that.
Yeah. Let's see. Look at us. What do you think? What have we been doing all night?
Right.
Yeah. Or there's also the drunk guy that tries to come on stage and wants to sing or jam.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's been that too.
Oh,
Can I sit in, man? Can I play the drums on this song? It's like, why don't you go ask the drummer?
Yeah, and see what he says.
Right.
No kidding.
Those are those. Yeah, you get, and of course you get used to that because people have been doing that no matter what band you're in since I've been playing music. You always get that guy. Y'all know any Skinner, Slayer, whatever. You know, it's like, I know it, but we're not gonna play it as a band because they probably don't know it. But
there's always
a guy like that, man, that wants to tell you he used to be a guitar player and I got me a Marshall Stack in storage.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, you should play more. Get out and play.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you guys know Bobby McGee?
Yeah. Not personally, but
no kidding. That's awesome.
Dead Metal Society is a fun band, though. Yeah. It's really it's a good time, and that's why we're still doing it, and you know, and still making new fans and new friends all the time. Every time somebody comes to see us, they come back a second time. Yeah, all of them do. Yeah, it's great.
Well, you guys did Rocklahoma, right?
Yeah, we did.
I just remember that.
Yeah, that was fun.
How did that go?
That went great, man. We got lucky because we played on Friday night.
Oh yeah.
Now, it had rained that day, and it was muddy, but when we played, it was perfect. Yeah. Man, the crowd was big. There was no rain. It went great. It was awesome. Cool. I could have stayed up there for another hour and played. It was perfect.
Well, good thing you didn't play Sunday.
Or Saturday, really, both of them.
Yeah, it would have been. You would have had brown shirts instead of black shirts.
That's true.
Covered in mud.
And and we did the Brady Halloween party last year.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been to one of those?
Uh-uh.
It's a pretty big deal. It's probably 2,500 people. It's by invitation only, and it was awesome, man. It was a big, huge costume party at Brady. It was actually last year was the 100th anniversary of the Brady. And so we're doing it again this year. They invited us and to do it again. But speaking of Rocklahoma, the stage that we played on was the Jaeger retrospect stage, and he was like, he told us afterwards he would probably have us back next year too. So that would be awesome. Looking forward to doing that again because the big crowds are the best crowds.
Yep. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I read
I think he had posted from retrospect that was the biggest crowd they had
Right.
had in
Yeah.
years on
Yeah.
that stage or
Really?
something.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was killer. It was a good time, man. Really, I hate for it to end. It seems like it goes by way too fast.
Yeah.
Especially in that situation because you're only playing for 20, 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And
they're probably rushing you in, rushing you out
Sure.
because they've got
The next band's
48
gotta set up.
million fucking bands playing.
That's
yeah,
exactly
all that
it.
stuff.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably over before you even know what happened.
Yeah.
What are your favorite songs to play with DMS?
Boy,
Stuff that doesn't get up. I mean,
my
you're
favorite
probably tired of
songs-
playing Pour Some Sugar on Me or something, but
Well, I like playing It's So Easy because I sing it.
okay.
So that's all. But we don't play it that often. No, I would say that I like to play. Wasted Years by Iron Maiden. I like playing. I like playing Night Train.
Oh yeah.
Boy, I don't know. What else do I like to play? Anything that shows off the bass. I guess Sweet Child of Mine would be good since I get a nice little bass part on that. You know,
you do.
you only get a few minutes to shine as the bass player, so you got to take full advantage of that. I like playing Still of the Night. That's a great song to play. It's fun to rock out to.
Right on.
Yeah, it's
Right
a real
on.
good one.
Yeah, any Kiss song is probably good to play on bass because
Detroit Rock City's a good one
he
to play.
walks up and down
Sure,
that whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Gene's an underrated bass player. The funny thing is, he screws up a lot live, hits wrong notes, but really, he actually does some really cool bass lines on some of the old albums. I mean, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Really good. But it's funny because when I sit here and try to think of all the songs we play, I'm like, what are my favorites? It's like I kind of draw a blank. I'm like, oh, there's so many songs that 3 bands, all these songs.
Oh
like,
yeah. Starts running all together and stuff. I bet.
Yeah. I like playing Livewire, Motley Crue. That's kind of a cool one to play. You
Right
know,
on.
I like playing the stuff that people are kind of surprised by that we're playing. You know, like November Rain.
Yeah.
Because, you get the piano part and all the orchestra stuff, and yeah,
That's
it works
crazy.
out good.
I gotta
man.
see that.
Yeah,
I got to.
Yeah, it's fun to play.
All right, so I was going to ask you, who are the common members between Dead Metal Society and Amped and Addiction?
Originally, it was all 4 members of Dead Metal Society, aside from Todd, the singer, and we had a different singer in Amped. And then Mark left Amped last year, maybe early this year sometime. So now it's just myself, Ben, and Jason are the 3 members that are in Dead Metal Society that are also in Amped.
Okay.
And then the singer's name is Wes Hoffman.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are any of the same guys in the Addiction as well besides you?
Yeah, Ben.
Ben is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're roommates too. So
That works out.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, having been I mean, in the music scene in Tulsa forever, what do you think was the best time for it? What was your funnest time?
It varies across the board. In the 80s, it's a learning experience, so everything's new and fresh, and you're seeing things for the first time that you probably shouldn't be seeing when you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
And then I would say in the 90s, whenever I became like the vocalist for the Kevorkians, and we were playing original stuff, that we're doing Edge Fest in the late 90s, and so I think every era has its highs and has its lows, but I've seen a lot of change, absolutely, and since 1980, whatever, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, the 90s and the Edge Fest and the homegrowns, and that was really that was a good time.
Yeah, those were.
That was fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fun.
Do you think it's currently at a good point? Or do you think it's kind of
I think right now there's a lack of a lot of places to hone your skills. I think there's for the original shows that people put on, they put on a show with like 4 or 5 original bands where you only get a small time slot and not much time to probably get a good mix for your band. So as far as that scene goes, I'm jealous that they're playing originals because I would love to play originals right now too. But I sure don't want to go play shows with 5, 6, 7 bands. No time to mix your set, between bands or anything like that. But again, you have more pride when you play original music and people are, digging the tunes that you wrote, instead of the tunes that you're playing that someone else wrote.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Well, you mentioned earlier that you've got a lot of original stuff and you'd like to put something out eventually.
Yeah, well, actually, we do have some stuff out. I have a lot of stuff out. Actually, I just Haven't written
Well,
anything.
currently
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. That's what kills me. I hate that. And I need to get back to songwriting. And God knows it's a good time to find inspiration for it. So
Yeah, definitely.
Is that something you would just look into who you'd want to work with at the point you decide to do it, or?
Well, a lot of the songs that I write on guitar myself, and I give it to a guitar player who makes it much better than I can play it. And but yeah, I mean, I'd like Ben and I to try to do something on the original side, and see where that goes. I think I'm more into recording right now than I would be playing a live 30-minute set with the aforementioned 6 or 7 bands.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to record some original stuff really badly, and it will happen again.
Right on. Well, switching gears a little bit. We talked a lot about like McCartney and Nikki Sixx and Gene Simmons. Who else are some pretty top bass players for you?
Well, when I was like 16 playing bass and 17 and playing with a pick, Billy Sheehan was the guy who inspired me not to play with the pick, and so I have never played with the pick since those days, because you weren't cool if you didn't use your fingers on the bass, and so many calluses later.
That's crazy. You said Billy Sheehan. I think he's like the best.
He is amazing.
The absolute best.
He makes me want to quit.
Yeah. I mean, I thought for a while Stu Hamm was, probably the best, and Stu Hamm was way up there.
Yeah.
But I mean, Billy Sheehan. I mean,
absolutely.
I can just YouTube a 10-minute bass solo from that guy.
Have you ever watched that metal show where he's been on there?
Yeah.
He's been.
I
was like, that's it. I quit. I'm done.
Yeah, it's just insane. It's like
sure.
Nothing. It's like no in bass, guitar, anything. I've never seen anything like it.
It's amazing. And it's sickening.
Yeah, when we saw Winery Dogs for Oklahoma, and that was just like it.
I'm sure. And of course, Geddy Lee, man. He's singing lead vocals and playing those bass lines. He's playing. It's like how and he's working like synth pedals and stuff like that. It's like, man.
At the same time,
dude.
Yeah, I can barely get out a note and strum a G chord at the same time. I don't know how some of these guys do that.
Right. It's weird for me. It's like there's a lot. I can sing and play, but there's those certain songs, the rhythms are so messed up and weird for the bass line, and I can't sing.
Yeah.
Like, let's take "Rain When I Die" by Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
I can't sing that and play that at the same time.
Yeah.
Or "Damn That River." It's just a hard, weird rhythm that I can't sing over.
Yeah, that is a hard song.
I'll screw the bass line up.
Man. And it's like Les Claypool. How his head doesn't explode, I don't know.
You know what? For me, he's awesome, way better than me. But I just get tired of that on every song. It's like that's cool that you can do that, but
Yeah, and I mean he does sings at the same time
sure,
and all that stuff.
There's a lot of guys out there that are like that can sing and play the instrument and just make you go, wow, man.
Yeah.
It's like they've locked themselves away and just practiced.
Yeah. I haven't listened to Primus in years. Jesus.
What did you you didn't start. You mentioned you started singing after you saw or heard Kurt Cobain and realized anyone could do this. I think.
I think that's what I said. Well, I was a backup singer for my since I started playing until I was about 25 years old. And after going through a couple singers, we decided we wanted to be, fit in with the times more, the more 90s kind of scene. So we canned our last singer, and I started singing the songs, and we started writing more songs. And one day I'd go in and I'd be like, I can do this. Next day I'd go in and be like, I can't do this, man. And eventually it just became to where, it was no big deal at all. Plus I'm writing my own music, so I can play and sing when I'm writing, So, yeah, it was cool. That felt good to be able to do that and be a lead singer, and I did that in Mourning Tree as well. I just haven't done it. Once in a while in DMS I'll sing a song.
Mm-hmm.
And The Addiction I sing a song, I think. Yeah, but yeah, I like singing. I love harmony vocal, like I told you guys.
Yeah,
the Beatles, Alice in Chains kind of stuff, Queen. I love that stuff. Love it.
Yeah.
Was it something you had a interest in doing from an early age, or you just, like I said, just did it because you fell into it?
What's that?
The singing as well as playing.
I wanted to sing too. I knew I could sing a little bit when I was young, so I just kind of, after singing backups for so long, I just kind of like, well, now it's my turn. After you, it's like singers, like you're changing socks out. It's finally like I'm going to wear this color. I'm going to be the black pair of socks. But yeah, no, I enjoy singing. I do. I like it a lot.
Right on. So, this is probably a question you get all the time, but I'm just gonna get out of the way. Where does the 9 thing come from?
Well, the 9 thing is, I always thought it was really cool that a band like Marilyn Manson had the serial killer first names and the supermodel last, or the vice versa. Sorry. And then I thought it was cool that in the 90s, Prince was basically saying "fuck you" to his record company and going by the sign.
Yep.
Right.
So I'm like, well, my birthday is 9/9. My anniversary is on the 9th. One of my favorite musicians in the world, John Lennon, number 9 was an important number for him.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go by 9.
Yeah, there you go.
And so, I think it was 99, maybe 2000, 90, something like that. I was like, all right, I don't want to be the former name anymore. I just want to be 9. And so,
Right on. That's cool.
love me or hate me, you're going to remember 9.
Yeah.
So.
And this is going to be the 9th episode. So
There you go. So
it
the
works
9s are
out
wild.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Does even family call you that? Or they still call you Brian?
You know what? My mother calls me Brian, and my brothers, 3 brothers who are all smart asses like me, they'll call me 9, but they'll do it in a tone where hey 9.
Right.
Nice.
It's funny.
Good.
Was there any newer bass players or newer bands that you're into over the last, that came out in the last 10 or 20 years after the whole wave of the 90s stuff?
Let me see. Well, I'm trying to think, man, and try not to make myself sound too old. But I can't think of anybody right off hand.
That's probably not a bad thing.
Really, I can't. I mean, more than anything, I just like a good song. I like a good melody for a song. I don't think the bass player should ever stick out too far, or the drummer should try to overplay anything. For me, it's all about a song, all about a good melody. And while I appreciate, like a lot of today's bands, how hard their music is, I can't do the growling vocals. Just no melody to a vocal just kills me. I can't stand it. When you come from loving the Beatles, who are melody makers, or Queen, or someone like that, and then But I get it, man. Every era's got their their bands.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I think it's cool you mentioned about how serving the song, and it's cool to be good and whatnot. I think a lot of the best players, even no matter how good they are, Steve Vai, Dimebag, or whatever, whoever, they'll say that themselves.
You find a pocket for yourself.
Even when they could go off and just, but
Yeah.
they know that's the best part of it,
Yeah, and not everybody's like that, of course. They want to show off their skills, and some of them are highly skilled. I just, for me, what drew me to music was a good, to hear the Bee Gees singing Tragedy, or to hear, Another One Bites the Dust when I was 10 years old, or Baby Come Back by Player when I was probably 6.
Well, could you say what your favorite Queen song is?
Death on Two Legs.
Nice.
I think it's a great song. But there's too many. I mean, the genius of Killer Queen and Bicycle, and You're My Best Friend is one of the most beautiful songs ever. I mean, Queen, just amazing musicians, amazing. They did show off too, and they could, but still the song. It was still about the song. They could be a simplistic as Crazy Little Thing Called Love, which is so simple. And then turn around and do something like obviously Bohemian Rhapsody or something like that. So I mean, they were really intelligent, musically educated people. So they had a lot of ability in that band.
Yeah, they could get away with doing something that was like a Roadhouse rock and roll, feel good thing. But then they could do this huge operatic, and it made sense. And some bands do that, and you never hear from them again. Yeah, it's cool how they could pull that off.
Queen was incredible. I obsess over some bands, and I like some bands, and I don't like some bands. And Queen was one of the ones I obsessed over, and I had to have everything by them. And there's a few bands like that I've done that with. But Freddie Mercury, man, one of the best frontmen ever in rock history ever.
Oh, I would give anything to go back and see them live. I mean, that would just be
the
monumental.
The Live Aid performance is that's right there. Just anybody that hasn't really seen Queen, Ben's about to come in, should Google the Live Aid show and check that out, because it's amazing. Want to learn how to be a front man? There it is.
I remember being a little kid watching it on TV, going, who is this guy? I wasn't really sure what to even think about it, but you knew it was like great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember that.
And I love Brian May. I love his guitar tone. So it's so weird that his guitar is a fireplace mantle, and he plays with an English nickel. That's weird. That's just weird. Yeah. But he has a swirly, cool tone to his guitars.
It's like a homemade guitar or something.
Yeah, it is. Him and his dad made it. It's out of a fireplace mantle.
That's
right.
Nuts.
I know. The Red Special.
Yep. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Randy Rhoads to me though was my even though I wasn't a true guitar player like that, Randy Rhoads to me was so amazing.
Yeah.
I would have killed to see what he could have put out 30 years after he died.
That's what I was just thinking that the other day. What would that guy have been? He wouldn't be with Ozzy. I don't think.
No, they even said that he had already talked about leaving Ozzy to go back and study more classical.
Wow.
He was amazing, man. He was and such a humble guy too, from what I read. Apparently, I didn't know him obviously, but but yeah, Randy Rhoads was. I think he's an incredible guitar player.
That's insane. Yeah. That would have been definitely one to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, real quick, back on Queen. What's your thoughts on the deal with Paul Rogers or Adam Lambert?
That doesn't interest me.
Okay.
I don't want to hear those guys try to sing Freddie Mercury, man. Yeah. I don't. The only thing I would say I can deal with the guy that's in Alice in Chains now, because he sounds really good singing some of the stuff that Lane did. Yeah. It's not Lane, but he does a good job. I didn't have any interest in Motley Crue when they had John Corabi, even though he's way better than Vince Neil. Vince Neil sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vince.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Corabi fan.
See, yeah,
and I know that most people think they should have changed their name, but
when that album even came out, I wasn't even into Motley Crue at that point.
Yeah, true. I get that.
When it came out in '94. Yeah.
But I saw the Paul Rogers thing on TV, and I was just like, why are they even? It's not even in the same. I mean, it didn't make sense to me. I don't know. And
he's so gravelly voiced trying to sing songs by a guy who's incredible.
Yeah. So who was anything but gravelly. It was. I mean, I turned it. And
truthfully, I haven't heard him with Adam Lambert. I haven't heard it.
I haven't either.
I haven't even tried to hear it.
You're not alone.
It's like you can't replace Kurt Cobain. You're not gonna be able to do that. It's hard to replace the voice of the band. And I really think Alice in Chains, even though the era's over, they've done well for themselves with that guy. I mean, they put out 2 new albums. The first one I know of is really good. Black Gives Way to Blues is a really good album. Has a lot of good songs on it.
I think their benefit is Jerry Cantrell's voice was such a big part.
And his songwriting. I mean, the whole sound is Jerry Cantrell, even though Lane had the voice. Yeah. Jerry wrote 85% of everything, even the drug lyrics. Even Lane was the druggie, but Jerry wrote a lot of those lyrics, a lot of them.
And I think what helped them out was time. They didn't just jump right into a new singer.
Yeah,
it all kind of happened.
You're right.
Because that guy was in Cantrell's solo band, and it just kind of seemed a little bit more organic than
let's
just go find a guy,
Yeah,
so
he went off on his own solo. Yeah, right. The Boggy Depot album. And a couple other ones.
Yep, that helped him out. I think
I agree with you.
A key thing.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
Well, you got anything else?
No, I think we just need to make sure that you plug your upcoming shows and stuff like that.
Well, let's see. I have upcoming shows with Dead Metal Society. I'm going to look at my calendar right here. All right. Dead Metal Society is playing in Pocola, Oklahoma at the Event Center at the Choctaw Casino July 18th.
Which is close to Fort Smith for those of you
Which is close to Fort Smith. And it's our first time playing on the big stage there instead of the club that's inside the casino. Then the week after that, the 24th, Amped is at CJ Maloney's. The next night, The Addiction is at Cimarron once again. And then the week after that, on August 1st, DMS is playing at Buffalo Run in Miami, Oklahoma.
Cool.
So there's 4 shows.
Cool. I saw you with Amped at CJ Maloney's. So that was cool.
Now, is that still with Mark, the other guitar player?
Yeah, it was a while back.
Okay.
We both went with Tommy. We went, God, that was almost 2 years ago. A year ago? I don't know. Don't get me to... I've drank since then. So.
Yeah. No, yeah. Matter of fact, we haven't played CJ's. None of the bands. CJ's something. I don't know what happened. They quit having bands for a while. I think they just had DJs or whatever. But I mean, we were playing there constantly back 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I mean, so it'll be cool to be back there. Yeah, absolutely. And the Addiction plays there. I think it's September.
Cool.
I saw you guys are doing that Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue in Fayetteville.
Yeah, I don't know when that is. Maybe September sometime, 25th or something like that. Yeah, that'll be fun. It should be a big crowd. Those are the best crowds, the big ones.
Yep. Yeah. We'll be on the lookout.
Right.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate this big time.
Hey, thank you guys very much.
Yeah.